Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening, as we're here now on Tuesday, the 23rd of December, 2024. Now, the first thing to remember is we have abbreviated trading sessions across the board tomorrow, not only in the stock market, but the futures markets will go the same way, the options markets. So please be aware of that. The volume will be very light. Today, I was like in certain markets watching paint dry during the day, and we had an interesting stock market day. I mean, you did go up and you got up to highs in three of the indices. You closed down in the Russell today. Goldman Sachs gaining a little bit more. Uranium put on a little bit of a gain. Google's still acting great, and Google's turning out to be one of my favorites. So, like I picked 2 years ago, Boeing on that big decline. I'm watching Google very carefully. Apple climbed again. Home Depot couldn't go anywhere, while Restoration Hardware gained a little bit. You can see that right through here. Now, Lilly was down about $5, but understand, Novo Nordisk came out and their pill has been approved. So in January, they'll have maybe an 8 to 10 week head start on Lilly, whose own pill will come out very shortly. And these are the weight loss pills. And the pricing is going to be interesting because it looks like a month's supply on Novo's could be as low as $150. I remember when they were $1,100. So I want to check what that pricing is going to be. But they're saying if you pay cash, that's basically where you're coming in from. So that should be interesting. Freeport, McMoran, finally jumped as it looks at copper prices that seem unstoppable. The gold market gaining again, very strong. The gold miners and the silver miners not really keeping up with what the underlying units are doing. Now, tomorrow we do get some news in the morning. We're going to get the Mortgage Bankers Association at 6 a.m. Jobless claims will be looked at for those of us that are still around. That'll come out at 7:30. They're estimating it up 1,000 to 225,000, and continuing claims last week were 1.897 million. I didn't see any estimates on it. We did see that the Baker Hughes rig count went up 3 on the week, ending at 545 in this period, but that's still 44 rigs below the year ago period. So let's take a look at gap. Now, we were just talking yesterday if this market were to do something. And here's where you were yesterday. I said, here we've got a reversal. You've got swing lines that have been pointing up. If you take out this low, could be a bit problematic for the market. And as you'll see right here, the market absolutely went there and took out that low today. So now you'll see on the next chart that what you actually have is a higher high and a lower low all the way down here. This low took out that low. This high took out this one. So you've stepped out of the uptrend. So this good work that had been done, carrying the market to a new high for this particular leg of it. Nice, pulled back and got back under the 18-day average. Now, the big question was yesterday, what would you do? If you took out the low right here, I had pointed out, you'd be almost on the 18-day average, so you continue down. If it wants to continue further, look for big support at 25.74, which is the Bollinger Band. And when you look at the market momentum, you've already worked yourself out of the overbought condition. So we have a market that now momentum pointing down, bias down. The swing line's no longer in an uptrend. In Meta, the trend still is going sideways. The swing line is up with higher lows, higher highs, but you're really caught in here. I'm not saying you can't have big action tomorrow, but why would you? I mean, a lot of the big traders won't even be at their office tomorrow. In Goldman, you're holding up very well, but you are overbought. You're back up towards these highs. When we lost the bearish embedded reading right over here, it happened. The market has not paid attention to it. Now, it hasn't made a new high. My theory is that before this high is taken out, and it doesn't mean that I'll be right, that price and the 18-day average will try to make a run at each other. If they don't, you probably go to the upper Bollinger Band right away. In Roku also stepped out of its uptrend today. It broke down, and even though it closed higher, it stepped away from the pattern of higher lows, higher highs. The market does have what? Not embedded there, but watch. Day one of embedding. 2, all numbers over 80, look on the left. 3, and even today. So the market got bought is really what happened today, probably at a key moving average. I don't share that with you here. I show that in the mornings on my subscriber videos. And I think the market can still be in an uptrend here until it loses that reading. In Netflix, well, now the problem for Netflix is pretty easy to understand. Paramount's probably got to do more on its bid. Probably got to go up another, I'm guessing, $3 or $4 from the different reports that I'm reading. And that means Netflix will have to go up $3 to $4 if it wants to get ownership of it. The other problem that I see is existing for Netflix, they got $5.8 billion on the table here if the regulators don't approve their bid being the winning bid. Same for Paramount, by the way. But I don't think Paramount would have a regulatory issue considering what they own. It's more Netflix that could have one. We'll see. In Uber, well, Uber came alive yesterday and it's holding on to it. But remember what I told you. I said you have an embedded reading. I think the pros will sell it short, which they did. And I think that's what I think they did at least. And I think they'll bail if you get a reading in the slow stochastic over 21 and you're nowhere near it. In Rivian, I didn't think you'd stay over the upper Bollinger Band very long, and you haven't. You pulled back inside of it, which is very typical. Now, you've got the beginnings of an embedded reading because it's only day one where both numbers are over 80. So you're just plain overbought. In Joby, you've pulled back, as you can see, under the 18-day average. The market's had, again, failures on the challenge of the 100-day average. The trend is down. The bias is down. You've worked off an oversold condition. So now the onus is on the bears to keep the market in the downtrend by offering their resistance at the 18-day average at 1457, this number right through there. In the financial service sector, the market continues to run. It is trying to embed. Now, this is a very interesting situation. You lose the embedded reading. The very next day, you don't get it back. I'll show you right here. Then you begin the process of day one of embedding. Today is day 2. Well, when you take out this and you come back up and you take out the high that you had in place of 55.31, one of the things I teach in my course is that you're probably going to the nearest either moving average or upper Bollinger Band. So I think there's room on the upside here. In XLI, you've got a higher high and a lower low. That is not a trend that you should be trading off of. In XLE, we have a market that is oversold. It is still fighting at the 100-day average. Can it build anything is the question. The prior high had been 44.53. Today you took it out by 2 cents. So you've got the pattern of higher lows, higher highs. However, the market still has downside biases. It's under the 18-day average of closes and it's oversold. I just see too many forces that are fighting with each other. Second day up in the gold market, fully embedded reading has been carrying the day, and it doesn't give you an opportunity on breaks to come in. You only stay over the Bollinger Band 5% of the time. Palantir going sideways and working on developing a new bullish embedded reading. Day 1, 2, and today is day 3. So you've got it. I think the pros will be buying this market now on the break, looking for the upper Bollinger Band again. When we look at Microsoft, you can see why I said I like what Microsoft's looking like. I still think that this chart is interesting. It's 483.50. I don't think you want to take out 482.49. And if it can hold that without doing it, I think you open the door for 494.50. In BLT, tell me the number you see that it went down to. Went right to the lower Bollinger Band and turned around and said, Ira said, this is the spot that pros take their money off the table. And I think somebody heard me. Look at how they're just taking the dollar apart on this break. It is breaking down in a big time way as FXE probably going up to the upper Bollinger Band, but overbought. So you got to wait and see how these two are going to play their hands out. I do want to remind you that we have a host of free offers for you. And if you're watching this over the Christmas period, you can get our market center software. That, by the way, includes price counts. You learn how to work it. You can have access to the software you see me using here, which is the Linn trade platform. You can take a look at our futures trading kit that has free courses in it. You can try our price counts. Now, price counts are one of the neatest tools you'll see. Once a market sets up in a trend, gives you an idea where it might be headed and where likely support or resistance targets will fit in. Then we have our different brochures with all the tips from the pros and so on. And as I said, the video series. So all you need to do is you step over, you click on any of the offers. They'll go into what we call your basket. And from the basket that you'll see, at the bottom of the page, you'll put in your name, you'll put in your email address, and we get everything out to you. I'm Ira Epstein. All you need to do is move your cursor up here. You heard me. Move it right up there. You'll see an icon. You can move it over here. If you're watching us on YouTube, that'll bring you over. You go to iraepstein.com, complete the sign-up form, and away you go. We'll get things out to you. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. I will not be doing updates tomorrow afternoon, obviously, but we'll be back on Friday, and that's when I'll see everybody again.